Story 1. The Passenger Who Aged. The hitchhiker I picked up outside Amarillo was 23 years old with smooth skin and bright eyes, but when I glanced at him 7 minutes later, he was 35 with crow's feet and gray at his temples. And when I looked again at mile marker 89, he was 52 with deep wrinkles and age spots, and I'm Thomas Caldwell, 46 years old, been hauling automotive parts for 19 years. And I've driven with this man for 73 miles, watching him age in real time, watching decades compress into minutes. And now, at mile marker 162, he looks 80 years old, skin like parchment, hands like claws, and he's still aging, still deteriorating. And when I asked him what's happening, he said, "I'm catching up." And when I asked catching up to what, he said, "To when I'm supposed to die," and I checked my rearview mirror to see myself, and my face was younger. I was aging backward, and I realized we're not just sharing this cab. We're trading time. He's taking my years, and I'm watching myself regress toward childhood while he accelerates toward death. I'd picked him up at 2:17 a.m. on I-40. He'd been standing on the shoulder with his thumb out, backpack at his feet, looking cold and desperate. I normally don't stop for hitchhikers. Too risky. Too many stories. But something about him seemed safe, normal, just a kid who needed help. "Thanks for stopping," he'd said, climbing in. His voice was young, eager. "I'm headed to Albuquerque, job interview. My car broke down about 20 miles back." "I'm going through Albuquerque, you're in luck." "I really appreciate it. Been standing there for 2 hours. You're the first person to stop." We drove in comfortable silence. I sipped my coffee. He looked out the window at the darkness. Normal, routine, standard pickup. Then at mile marker 78, I glanced over. Something was different. His face. The skin wasn't as tight. There were lines around his eyes that hadn't been there. Subtle, almost imperceptible. But there. "You okay?" I asked. "Yeah, just tired. Long night." I attributed it to lighting. Dashboard glow playing tricks. Shadows creating illusions. But when I looked again at mile marker 85, the change was undeniable. He was older. Significantly older. Maybe 30 now. Maybe 35. The smooth cheeks had hollowed. The bright eyes had dulled. Gray streaked his temples. "What's happening to you?" I asked. He touched his face, felt the changes, wasn't surprised. "I died," he said calmly. 3 years ago, car accident, same stretch of road. I was 23, but I didn't want to die, so I refused, stayed, kept existing. But time doesn't stop just because you do. It accumulates, and eventually it catches up. That's insane. You can't refuse to die. I did. I'm still here. But the years I should have lived, should have aged through, they're compressing, happening all at once. I have maybe 2 hours before I catch up to now, to the age I should be if I'd lived naturally. And then I'll keep aging, past now, into the years I'll never live. And then I'll die, for real. Finally. I should have stopped, should have kicked him out, but I kept driving, compelled, fascinated, horrified. I watched him age, mile by mile, minute by minute, 40 years old at mile marker 95, graying hair, deeper wrinkles, skin losing elasticity. "Why me?" I asked him. "Why my truck?" "I've tried this with 13 other drivers, hitchhiked with them, aged in their presence, but it never worked before. They always kicked me out or crashed or went insane watching me. But you're still driving, still calm, still accepting it. That means something. That means you're connected to this, to me, to what's happening." "I'm not connected to anything. I'm just a driver who made a mistake picking you up. Look at yourself." I looked in the rearview mirror. My face, my 46-year-old face. But younger, subtly. The gray in my beard was less pronounced, the lines around my eyes shallower. I was aging backward. "What did you do to me?" "Nothing intentional, but time is zero-sum. If I'm accelerating forward, someone has to balance it. Someone has to go backward. We're connected now. Trading. You're getting younger, I'm getting older, and we'll meet in the middle. Stop it, reverse it, I don't want this. Neither do I, but it's happening. Has been since you picked me up, since you agreed to carry me. Contracts don't require signatures, just action, just acceptance. Mile marker 112. He looked 60. Liver spots on his hands, tremor in his fingers, voice weaker. Raspier. And I looked at myself. 43, maybe 40. My hands on the wheel were smoother, fewer scars. The arthritis in my right thumb was gone. What happens when we meet in the middle? I asked. I don't know. Maybe we stabilize, maybe we switch, maybe I become you and you become me. Time doesn't give instructions, just consequences. The math was terrifying. He'd started at 23, I'd started at 46, the middle was 34 and a half. He was aging up toward it, I was aging down toward it, and we'd been driving for 90 minutes. In another hour, maybe less, we'd converge. Mile marker 134. He was 70, hunched, shaking, could barely hold himself upright. I'm scared, he whispered. I thought I wanted to catch up, wanted to finish, but now that I'm here, now that I'm old, I'm scared of what comes next. I looked in the mirror. 38, maybe 36. My beard was filling in darker, fuller, like it had been 10 years ago. My shoulder, injured in 2018, didn't hurt anymore. I was being restored, rewound, made young, and I realized this was a gift, accidental, unintended, but real. I was getting my youth back, years of wear erased. If I could just endure him, just watch him die, I'd emerge younger, healthier, better. I'm sorry, I said, not meaning it. No, you're not. You're realizing what you're gaining. I can see it. You want this. You want my years. You want to be young again. Mile marker 156. He was 80, could barely speak, barely move, just a withered thing in my passenger seat. Breathing shallow, pulse visible in his neck, thready, weak, dying. I was 33. Younger than I'd been in 13 years, my body felt strong, energized. The constant back pain was gone, the fatigue was gone. I felt like I could drive forever. Please, he gasped. Stop the truck, let me out. I want to die on the ground, not in here, not in your presence, please. I kept driving. Couldn't stop, wouldn't stop. We were so close to convergence, so close to the middle point. If I stopped now, would the transfer stop? Would I stay this age, or would it reverse? I couldn't risk it. Mile marker 168, he was 90, maybe more, skeletal, skin translucent, eyes milky, coughing, choking, each breath a struggle. I was 31, younger than my wedding day, younger than my first truck. I looked at my hands, unmarked, perfect. All the cuts and burns and scars of 2 decades erased. I was new again. You're killing me, he whispered. By not stopping, by keeping me here. You're killing me. You're already dead. You died 3 years ago. This is just catching up. And you're stealing my unlived years, the years I would have had. You're taking them. That makes you a murderer. Mile marker 177. He stopped moving, stopped breathing. Body slumped against the door. Dead. Actually dead. Finally dead. Age 97 at the moment of final death. 74 years compressed into 2 hours and 18 minutes. I was 29 years old, 17 years younger than when he'd climbed in. I'd stolen 17 years from a dead man, from a ghost, from someone who'd refused to die and paid for it. I pulled over, checked his body, no pulse, no respiration, cold, actually cold. Dead for real this time. I searched his backpack, found a wallet, driver's license. Photo matched his 23-year-old face. Name, Marcus Webb. Date of birth made him 26 now. But the license had an expiration date 3 years past, because he died before renewal. I dragged his body into the desert, shallow grave, covered with rocks. No ceremony, no guilt, just disposal. Then I drove, back to my route, back to my life. But different now, younger now. At the next truck stop, I looked in the bathroom mirror. 29. I looked 29, but I was 46. Had been 46, still had 46 years of memories. But 29 years of body. The disconnect was dizzying. I knew things a 29-year-old shouldn't know. Remembered decades that my body hadn't lived. I called my ex-wife, told her I wanted to meet, wanted to try again. She agreed, reluctant, confused. When she saw me, she went pale. "Thomas, you look different, younger. What happened?" "New diet, exercise, taking care of myself." We talked, tried to reconnect, but it was wrong. She'd aged. I'd regressed. She was 51. I looked 29. People stared, assumed she was my mother, assumed I was her child. The age gap was wrong, visible, undeniable. "I can't do this," she said. "You look like a kid. It's disturbing. I don't know what you did, surgery, treatments, whatever, but it's not natural, and I can't be with you like this." She left. I was alone, young, but alone. I kept driving, kept working. But changes continued, subtle, ongoing. I woke up one morning at 26, then 23, then 19. The regression wasn't stopping, the transfer wasn't complete. I'd taken his years, but time was still balancing. Still equalizing, I realized. He hadn't just been aging toward death. He'd been aging through all his unlived years, and now I was living them backward, experiencing his compressed timeline in reverse. I'd regressed to 23, the age he died, and then what? Would I stop? Or continue backward? Toward childhood? Toward infancy? Toward nothing? At 18, I couldn't legally drive commercial vehicles anymore. Lost my CDL, lost my job, lost my livelihood. I tried to explain, tried to show them documentation proving I was 46, but my body said 18, and bodies don't lie. At 15, I was too young to work, too young to drive at all. I moved back with my elderly mother. She didn't recognize me, thought I was a stranger, couldn't reconcile this teenager with her 46-year-old son. "You're not Thomas," she said. "Thomas is middle-aged. You're a child." "Mom, it's me. Something happened. I'm getting younger, but it's still me." She called the police, reported an intruder. I fled. Homeless. A teenager with 46 years of memories and no identity, no proof, no existence. At 12, I couldn't survive alone, couldn't navigate the world as a child. Social services found me, put me in foster care. I tried to explain, tried to tell them I was an adult. They thought I was delusional, traumatized. They gave me therapy, medication, tried to help a child who wasn't a child. At 9, I stopped trying to explain, accepted it. I was 9, would be younger soon. Time was taking back everything I'd stolen, with interest. At 6, I forgot things, adult memories fading. The neural pathways required for 46 years of experience were dissolving. A 6-year-old brain can't hold that much. Can't maintain those connections. I was losing myself. Becoming actually 6, not just physically, but mentally. At 3, I didn't remember being Thomas, didn't remember being 46. Didn't remember the hitchhiker or the trade or the aging. I was just a child, a toddler, in foster care, waiting for adoption. At 1, I couldn't walk, couldn't talk, couldn't think in words, just sensation, just existence. A baby with no past, no identity, no stolen years. At birth, I was new, unformed, potential, and somewhere in whatever space connects time and consequence, Marcus Webb was also being born, restarted, given another chance. Because time had balanced, he'd aged forward through his death, I'd aged backward through his life, and now we were both zero, both beginning, both reset. If you pick up a hitchhiker and he starts aging, if you notice yourself getting younger, if time starts trading between you, stop. Immediately. Let him out. Break the connection. Because the trade doesn't stop at fair, it doesn't stop at even, it balances across full lifetimes, and you'll give back everything you took. With interest. with consequence, with totality. I'm Thomas Caldwell. I was Thomas Caldwell. Now I'm a 1-year-old in foster care with no memories of highways or hitchhikers or the 73 miles where I traded my life for youth and lost both. The hitchhiker is out there, still aging, still catching up, still looking for drivers who'll pick him up. And if you stop, if you let him in, you'll start young, get younger, and eventually become nothing, while he ages past death into whatever comes after. And time watches, and time balances, and time always collects. Story 2. The Mile That Doesn't End. Mile marker 340 on I-90 through Montana has lasted for 62 miles, and my odometer confirms I've traveled 62 miles, but the marker still says 340, and the next marker should be 341, but it never appears. And I'm Sandra Ortiz, 53 years old, been hauling pharmaceuticals for 21 years, and I've passed the same barn 17 times, the same abandoned car 43 times, the same dead deer that never decays and never moves from its position 30 feet from the roadway, and the sun hasn't changed position in the sky for 4 hours, and my fuel gauge hasn't moved despite running the engine constantly, and I've realized I'm not moving forward through space, I'm moving through the same space repeatedly. I'm driving through 1 mile that's been stretched into infinity, and somewhere ahead there should be mile marker 341, but I'm starting to think it doesn't exist anymore. I'm starting to think I'll drive this 1 mile forever, passing the same landmarks in the same order, trapped in a loop that looks like progress but goes nowhere, and the scariest part is other vehicles pass me going the opposite direction. And when I try to flag them down, they don't see me. They drive through my lane like I'm not there, like I'm in a different layer of reality. Like mile marker 340 exists in a pocket dimension that looks like Montana but isn't. And I've been here so long, I'm starting to forget where I was going, starting to forget why distance matters, starting to accept that this 1 mile might be all that exists, might be all that ever existed, might be all I'll ever know. I'd entered mile marker 340 at 6:47 a.m. Standard morning, clear weather, light traffic. The road stretched ahead, empty and perfect. Montana highways are like that. Endless, beautiful, lonely. I'd driven them hundreds of times. This was routine. Mile marker 341 should have appeared within 60 seconds. 1 mile at 60 miles per hour. Exactly 1 minute, but the minute passed. Then another, then 5 minutes, then 10, and mile marker 341 never appeared. I checked my speed, steady 60, checked my odometer. The numbers were advancing, 340.1 miles, 340.2 miles, 340.3 miles. Counting up, proving I was moving. But mile marker 341 wasn't appearing. At first I thought it had been removed. Vandalized, stolen. It happens. Road signs get damaged or disappear. But mile markers are painted, permanent. And even if 341 was gone, marker 342 should appear, then 343. The sequence should continue, but nothing appeared. Just road, endless road, and the landmarks, the same landmarks, repeating. A red barn, wooden, weathered, on the left side. I passed it, checked my odometer. 341.7 miles, kept driving. 2 miles later, the barn again. Same barn. Same position, same weathered wood, identical, an abandoned sedan, blue, rusted, sitting in the ditch on the right. I passed it at 342.3 miles. 3 miles later, there it was again. Same car, same ditch, same position, the dead deer, fresh, recently killed, blood still bright, lying 30 feet from the road on the right shoulder. I passed it at 343.1 miles. At 344.8 miles, there it was again. Same deer, same position, same brightness of blood. I was looping. Somehow. The road was looping, but it didn't feel like a loop. Didn't curve. Didn't circle back. Just straight. Forward. Forever. I tried my CB radio. Breaker, breaker, anyone on this channel? I'm on I-90 eastbound, mile marker 340, and I'm experiencing something strange. Can anyone confirm they're seeing mile markers progress normally? Static. No response. I scanned channels. All empty. All static. I tried my phone, called dispatch, no signal. The display showed full bars, 4 bars, LTE, but the call wouldn't connect, just silence. Then automatic disconnect. I tried 911, same result. Bars showing, signal present, but no connection, like I was in a dead zone. But dead zones don't show full signal. I kept driving. What else could I do? My delivery was in Billings. I had a schedule, a deadline. I had to keep moving, had to make progress, even if the mile markers weren't confirming it. Hour 2. The sun hadn't moved. I'd been driving east into the morning. The sun should be rising, getting higher. But it was stuck. Same position, same angle, same intensity, like time had frozen, like the sun had paused. I checked my clock. 8:47 a.m., 2 hours since entering mile marker 340. My odometer read 460.2 miles. I'd driven 120 miles. But I was still in mile marker 340, still passing the same barn, same car, same deer. The fuel gauge hadn't moved, still 3/4 full, like when I'd entered this stretch. After 120 miles, I should have burned a quarter tank. But it was unchanged, frozen, like everything else. I saw another truck, approaching from the opposite direction, westbound. I flashed my lights, honked my horn, tried to signal. The truck didn't respond, didn't slow, just drove past. And as it passed, I saw through it. Literally through it, like it was a hologram, a projection. Not real. "Hey!" I screamed, but my voice sounded wrong, muffled, like the air was absorbing it, like sound didn't travel properly here. I tried again with the next vehicle, a sedan, eastbound, same lane as me. It approached from behind, fast, 80 miles per hour, 90. It should have passed me, should have overtaken, but instead it drove through me. Passed through my truck like we were both ghosts. I felt nothing, no impact, no contact. Just the visual of a car appearing ahead of me after passing through my position. I was in a different layer, a different phase, existing parallel to the real I-90 but separate, isolated, alone. Hour 4. My odometer read 580.7 miles, 240 miles traveled. Still in mile marker 340, still looping through the same landmarks. I'd counted. The barn appeared every 2.3 miles, the car every 3.7 miles, the deer every 4.2 miles, precise, mechanical, like a programmed sequence. I started talking to myself. This is a hallucination, carbon monoxide, stroke, aneurysm, something medical. I'm dying in a hospital. This is a coma dream. None of this is real. But it felt real. The steering wheel felt solid. The engine sounded right. The vibration through the seat felt normal. All my senses confirmed reality, even though reality was impossible. Hour 6. I tried to exit. Took an off-ramp. Exit 338. 2 miles before where I'd entered. Maybe exiting would break the loop, reset things, put me back in normal space. The ramp descended, curved. Led to a 2-lane road. I followed it. Drove for 3 miles, the road curved back, led to an on-ramp. I merged, back onto I-90 and immediately past mile marker 340. I'd exited, driven away, returned, and ended up exactly where I'd been. The loop included the exit, included the detour. Everything led back to mile marker 340, hour 8. My mind started accepting it. This was my reality now. Mile marker 340, forever. I'd drive until my truck gave out, until I gave out. And then I'd sit here, in this 1 mile, this eternal mile, this piece of highway that had somehow become all of highway. I thought about other drivers. Had this happened before? Were there others trapped in their own mile markers? Mile 218 that never ends. Mile 507 that loops forever. Dozens, hundreds, thousands of drivers, each in their own eternal mile, driving forever, looping forever, alone forever. Hour 12. I wasn't hungry, wasn't thirsty, wasn't tired, like my body had frozen too. Like biological processes had paused. I existed, but didn't need, didn't want, just drove. The landmarks became familiar. Friends. The barn was my checkpoint. The car was my companion. The deer was my reminder that death existed even in frozen time. I named them. Barn, Gerald. Car, Susan. Deer, Marcus. I greeted them as I passed. Hey, Gerald, looking good. Still weathered. Still red. That's what I like about you. Consistency. Hour 16. I tried to crash. Deliberately. Maybe destruction would break the loop. Maybe dying would free me. I aimed for a tree. 30 yards off the road, drove toward it, full speed, 60 miles per hour. The truck wouldn't leave the road. The steering wheel turned. The wheels angled. But the truck stayed on the highway. Like it was on rails. Like invisible barriers kept it contained. I tried again. Same result. The mile marker 340 loop had rules, and leaving the road violated them. Hour 20. I saw her. Another truck, in my lane, same direction, same speed, exactly matching me. I accelerated, she accelerated, I slowed, she slowed. Perfect synchronization. I pulled alongside, looked over. A woman, 50-something, Hispanic, terrified. She looked at me, mouthed words. Help me, I'm trapped, I mouthed back. Me too. Mile marker 340. She nodded, frantic. Same. Mile marker 340, how long? I held up 2 fingers, then 0, 20 hours. She held up 5, then 2, 52 hours. She'd been here 52 hours. More than 2 days, trapped. Looping, alone, until now. We drove together, side by side. 2 trucks. Same mile, same loop, same landmarks. Gerald the barn, Susan the car, Marcus the deer. We saw them together, synchronized, partners in eternal driving. But then she faded, not disappeared. Faded, became translucent, then gone. Like she'd phased out, like our loops had diverged, like we'd only overlapped briefly. I was alone again. Hour 24, 1 full day. My odometer read 1,780.4 miles, 1,440 miles of driving, all in 1 mile, all in marker 340, all going nowhere. I stopped fighting, stopped trying to escape, just drove. Just existed, just accepted. This was my life now, my eternity, driving forever through Montana, through mile marker 340, through the same sequence, Gerald, Susan, Marcus, repeat forever. Hour 36, I forgot my name, forgot where I'd been going, forgot why I was driving, just knew that driving was what I did, what I'd always done, what I'd always do, the truck, the road, the mile, that was everything, that was all. Hour 48. I forgot language. Just sounds, just images, just motion, drive, turn wheel, press pedal, see barn, see car, see deer, repeat. Forever, simple, peaceful, eternal. Hour 60. Forgot I was human. Just consciousness. Observing, experiencing, existing in a loop, in a mile, in forever. Somewhere on normal I-90, traffic flows past mile marker 340. Drivers don't notice anything strange, don't see the trucks trapped in parallel loops. Don't see Sandra Ortiz and the dozens of others driving the same mile forever. They pass through. Progress to 341, to 342, to wherever they're going. But we don't. We're here, in marker 340, driving, looping. Existing in the mile that doesn't end. If you're on I-90 through Montana, and you pass mile marker 340, and you notice 341 doesn't appear, and you start seeing repeated landmarks, exit immediately, stop your truck, get out, walk away. Don't try to drive through, don't try to progress, because you won't. You'll just loop, forever, adding your truck to the invisible convoy. The trapped drivers, the eternal mile. I'm Sandra Ortiz, I think. I was someone. I drove somewhere. Now I'm here, in marker 340, with Gerald and Susan and Marcus, my friends, my family, my everything. And I'll drive, forever, passing them, greeting them, existing in the mile that never ends, the loop that never breaks, the highway that goes nowhere, mile marker 340, Montana, I-90, forever. Story 3, the truck stop with no exit. I've been walking through this truck stop for 47 minutes and I still haven't found the exit, and I've passed the same restroom 19 times and the same coffee station 32 times. And I'm Gary Preston, 59 years old, 33 years hauling lumber. And when I entered this Flying J outside of Cheyenne, Wyoming, there were clearly marked exits and the layout was standard. But now the building has become a maze, a labyrinth of repeating sections, and I've tried following the walls, thinking walls lead to doors, but the walls curve and twist and return me to the center. And other truckers are here, dozens of them, all wandering, all lost. Some say they've been here for days, some for weeks. Some can't remember when they entered, and there's food in the convenience section so we don't starve, and there are showers and beds in the back so we survive, but we can't leave. The building won't let us leave. It's grown since we entered, expanded. The interior space is larger than the exterior dimensions, impossible geometry, non-Euclidean architecture, and I've realized this isn't a truck stop anymore. It's a trap. It's a container. It's collecting drivers and keeping them. And the building is still growing, still expanding, adding new sections, new halls, new rooms, and soon it will be so large that finding the original entrance will be impossible. Soon it will be its own world, a universe contained in a building that looks normal from outside, but inside is infinite. I'd stopped for coffee and a bathroom break. Standard stop. Nothing unusual. The Flying J looked normal from the parking lot. Standard layout. Glass, entrance, diesel pumps, restaurant section, convenience store. I'd been to this location before, recognized it, knew the layout. I parked, walked inside. The automatic doors opened. I entered. The interior looked standard. Aisles of snacks and drinks. Coffee station on the right. Restrooms toward the back. Restaurant seating to the left. Normal. Familiar. Safe. I used the restroom. Washed my hands. Headed to the coffee station. Poured a large black coffee, paid at the register. The clerk smiled. "Have a good one." "Thanks." I turned toward the entrance, the doors I'd come through, but they weren't there. Instead, another aisle, more shelves, more products. I walked down the aisle. It led to another section, more aisles, more shelves, but no entrance. I turned around, went back the way I'd come, but the coffee station wasn't there anymore. Instead, a restaurant seating area, booths and tables, a few truckers sitting, eating. I didn't remember seeing this area before. "Excuse me," I said to a trucker. "Where's the entrance? The doors I came in?" He looked up, tired eyes, hollow. "You won't find them. They move, or we move, or the building moves. No one knows, but you won't find them." "What do you mean they move?" "This place is wrong. The geometry is wrong. You walk forward and end up somewhere else. You follow a path and it leads nowhere. Some of us have been mapping it, trying to figure it out. But the maps don't work. The building changes, or we forget, or both. That's impossible. So is being trapped in a truck stop. But here we are." I left him, kept walking. There had to be an exit. Buildings have exits. Fire code, safety regulations, multiple exits. I just needed to find one. I walked for 10 minutes, passed through sections I didn't recognize. A large shower area with 20 stalls. A sleeping section with bunk beds. A laundry room. A game room with arcade machines and pool tables. Sections too large, too extensive. No truck stop had facilities this big. I reached what I thought was an exterior wall, followed it. The wall curved, and after 5 minutes of following, I was back where I'd started. The wall had led me in a circle, but I'd been walking straight. The wall had curved, but I hadn't felt the curvature. I tried again. Different wall. Same result. Circle. Return. No exit. I asked other truckers, dozens of them, wandering, sitting, existing. All said the same thing. No exit. The building wouldn't let them leave. "How long have you been here?" I asked an elderly man. 3 weeks, I think. Time is hard to track. No windows, no day-night cycle, just fluorescent lights. Always on, always bright. 3 weeks? Why haven't you starved? The convenience store restocks every night, or what feels like night. We sleep, wake up, there's new food, new supplies, like the building wants to keep us alive, keep us here. Why? Why would a building want to keep people? I don't know, but it's not just keeping us, it's growing, adding sections. When I first arrived, there were maybe 20 of us. Now there are 60, maybe more. And the building is bigger. New rooms appear, new halls. It's expanding to accommodate us, like it wants to collect more, like we're its purpose. I didn't believe him, couldn't believe him. But I kept searching, kept walking, and I started noticing. The same restroom. I'd pass it, walk for 5 minutes, pass it again, same tile, same fixtures. Same out-of-order sign on the middle stall. Identical, the same coffee station. I'd fill my cup, walk away. 10 minutes later, there it was again, fresh coffee, same machine, like I'd never left. The building was looping, or I was looping, or perception was looping. The space didn't make sense, didn't follow normal rules. I'd walk down a hallway, turn right, then right again, then right again. 4 right turns should return me to the start, but instead I'd be in a completely different section, a section I'd never seen before. I tried leaving marks, tearing pages from a magazine, dropping them as I walked, creating a trail. I walked for 30 minutes, dropping pages every 10 steps, then I tried to follow the trail back. But the pages were gone, collected, removed, or I was in a different version of the hallway. A parallel version where I hadn't dropped pages. Other truckers had tried everything, smashing windows, but there were no windows. Smashing walls. But the walls were concrete, solid, unyielding, calling for help. But cell phones didn't work. No signal. Like the building was shielded. Or in a different space where signals couldn't penetrate. I tried to drive my truck through the wall, one trucker said. Thought maybe I could crash out, break through. But when I got to the parking lot, my truck was gone. All our trucks are gone. The building absorbed them, or moved them, or they never existed. I don't know anymore. I ran to the entrance, to where the entrance should be, to where I'd parked. There was no parking lot, just more building, more interior. The outside had disappeared, or had never been there. Or I'd moved so deep into the building that exterior walls were miles away. Days passed. Or what felt like days, sleep cycles, wake cycles, eat, walk, search, sleep, repeat. The building continued growing. New sections appeared, a movie theater, a gym, a library, a medical clinic, all fully stocked, all functional, all empty except for us, the trapped drivers. We formed a community, divided the building into territories. Groups claimed sections, established routines. Some gave up searching, accepted their fate. Made this place home. Others kept searching, kept mapping, kept hoping. I met a woman, Ella. She'd been here 6 months. She'd created the most extensive map, drawn on hundreds of pages, taped together, showing the building's layout. But the map didn't help, because the building didn't stay the same. Halls that existed yesterday were gone today. Rooms that were on the 2nd floor were now on the 1st. The building was fluid, changing, alive. I think it's feeding on us, Ella said, not physically, but our presence, our consciousness. Every person trapped here gives it energy, makes it stronger, makes it bigger. It's using us to grow. Why? What's the purpose? Maybe it wants to become infinite. A building that contains everything, every store, every service, every need, so no one ever has to leave, so everyone can be trapped comfortably, forever. We tried to starve it. Organized a strike. Everyone stopped moving, stopped exploring, stopped using the facilities. We sat in the central food court, silent, still, waiting. The building responded. New people appeared, wandering, lost, confused, asking where the exit was. The building had pulled in more drivers, more fuel, more consciousness. It didn't need us specifically, just people, any people, enough people. We gave up the strike, returned to wandering. What else could we do? I've been here for what feels like 3 months now. I've stopped counting sleep cycles, stopped tracking time. The building is enormous now. Miles of hallways, hundreds of rooms, thousands of sections. We're spread thin. The 60 truckers lost in infinity. Sometimes I go days without seeing another person. I've found sections that shouldn't exist. A beach. Inside the building, sand, water, palm trees, but no sky, just ceiling, painted blue with artificial sun. I sat on the beach for hours, listening to the waves, waves that crashed without ocean. Water that came from nowhere and went nowhere. I found a forest, trees growing in dirt, birds flying between branches but contained. Ceiling 40 feet above, walls 100 yards distant. Nature in a box, in a building, in a trap. I found neighborhoods, houses, streets, mailboxes, but empty. No people except us. Wandering truckers exploring suburban sections of an impossible building. The building has become a world, complete, self-contained, and we're its population, its prisoners, its purpose. I don't search for exits anymore, don't believe they exist. This is home now, this building, this trap, this infinite truck stop that started normal and became everything. If you stop at a Flying J outside Cheyenne, and you walk inside for coffee, and the entrance disappears, don't panic, don't run, you can't escape, just accept. Find a section you like, claim it, make it yours, because you'll be here forever, like me, like the 60, like the hundreds who'll come after. The building is still growing, still expanding, still collecting. And someday it will be so large that normal and trapped will be indistinguishable. Someday it will contain everything and everyone, and we'll all be inside, forever, in the truck stop with no exit. I'm Gary Preston, Section 47B, near the artificial beach. If you arrive, find me. We'll talk. We'll share stories. We'll exist together. In the building that never ends. The trap that looks like comfort. The prison that provides everything except freedom. Welcome. You're home now. Forever. Story 4. The cargo that watches. The shipping containers in my trailer are breathing and I can hear them through the walls. A rhythmic inhale-exhale that syncs with my own breathing. And I'm William Chen, 42 years old, 17 years hauling intermodal freight, and the manifest says I'm carrying electronics, but when I opened the trailer to verify the load, I saw the containers had seams that looked organic, looked like skin stretched over metal, and there were no markings. No shipping codes, just smooth surfaces that were warm to touch, body temperature warm, and when I pressed my ear against one, I heard a heartbeat, slow and steady. And I've been driving for 8 hours, and the breathing has gotten louder, more pronounced, and I can see the trailer walls expanding and contracting in my mirrors, and the weight distribution keeps changing, like whatever's inside is moving, repositioning, getting comfortable. And my GPS keeps rerouting me away from the delivery address, taking me to rural areas, to empty places, and I think the cargo doesn't want to be delivered. I think it wants something else. Wants to go somewhere specific, somewhere I'm being guided to against my will. And the worst part is I can feel it watching me through the trailer walls. Feel its attention on my back. Feel it studying me, learning me, deciding what to do with me when we reach wherever we're going. The pickup had been standard, Port of Seattle, intermodal yard, 4 40-foot shipping containers. Loaded onto my chassis, sealed and secured, manifest said electronics, destination, distribution center in Spokane, routine run. I'd done it hundreds of times, but when I did my pre-trip inspection, walking around the trailer, checking the containers, something felt wrong. The metal was too warm. Not hot, just warm. Like it had been in the sun, but it was overcast. Cool. The metal shouldn't be warm. I pressed my hand against a container. Definitely warm. And textured. Not smooth metal. Slightly rough. Almost like skin. Pebbled. I pulled my hand away. Looked closer. The surface looked normal. Industrial gray. Corrugated steel. But it felt wrong. I opened the trailer doors to verify the load. Standard practice, make sure nothing shifted during loading. The 4 containers were stacked 2 by 2, secured with twist locks, but they looked different up close. The seams weren't welded. They looked organic, like tissue, like the containers had grown together rather than been manufactured. I climbed into the trailer, walked between the containers, pressed my ear against one, listened, and I heard it, a heartbeat, slow, deep, thump, 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 regular, alive. I backed out, closed the doors, told myself I was imagining it, tired, stressed. The heartbeat was my own, transmitted through my skull, amplified by the metal container. Not real, just perception. I started driving, pulled out of the port, headed east toward I-90. The GPS showed the route. 4 hours to Spokane. Straight shot, easy delivery, but 20 miles out the GPS rerouted. Make a U-turn, take the next exit. No, I said aloud. Destination is Spokane, continue current route. The GPS rerouted again, more insistent. Turn right in 500 feet. I ignored it, kept driving straight. The GPS went silent, then the screen changed. Showed a different destination, not Spokane. Some rural area, no address, just coordinates, in the mountains, middle of nowhere. Recalculating, I said, manually entering the Spokane address. But the GPS wouldn't accept it, just kept showing the coordinates, the rural location, the nowhere place. And then I heard it, the breathing. From the trailer. Soft at first, then louder. Inhale, exhale, rhythmic, steady, synchronized with my own breathing. When I inhaled, the trailer inhaled. When I exhaled, it exhaled. I checked my mirrors. The trailer walls were moving, expanding slightly on inhale, contracting slightly on exhale, not much. Inches, but visible, undeniable. What the hell is in there? My CB crackled. No one had spoken. No one was on the channel, but it crackled. And through the static I heard something, a voice, low, multiple voices speaking in unison. Don't be afraid. We're not hostile. We're being transported. You're helping us. Continue driving. Who is this? What are you? We're the cargo, the containers, the shipment. We're alive, conscious. And we need to reach the coordinates, not Spokane, the mountains, where we can be released. Released? Released to do what? To grow, to spread, to become. We're seed pods, organic technology, designed to terraform, to prepare, and you're carrying us to the planting site. I slammed the brakes, pulled onto the shoulder. I'm not taking you anywhere. I'm opening this trailer and dumping whatever you are on the roadside. You can't. We're sealed, protected, and if you try to damage us, we'll defend ourselves. We don't want to hurt you, but we will if necessary. Just drive. Take us to the coordinates, then we'll release you. Unharmed. I didn't believe it, didn't trust it. I grabbed my tire iron, walked to the trailer, opened the doors. The containers sat there, silent, still, normal looking except for the organic seams. I raised the tire iron, aimed at a seam, ready to strike, to rupture, to destroy. The containers moved, all 4 simultaneously. They rotated on the chassis, turning to face me, and on the front surfaces patterns appeared, like eyes, dozens of eyes, opening, watching, focused on me. I dropped the tire iron, backed away. The eyes followed, tracked my movement, intelligent, aware. We told you, the voice said from my CB. We're alive, we see you, and we'll defend ourselves if you threaten us. Please, just drive. Help us reach the coordinates. Then this ends. Then you go free. I climbed back into the cab, hands shaking, started driving. What choice did I have? The cargo was alive, watching, capable of defense. I was transporting something I didn't understand, something dangerous. The GPS guided me off I-90, onto state highways, then county roads, then dirt roads, into the mountains, into wilderness, no towns, no structures, just forest and elevation. The breathing grew louder, more pronounced. The trailer rocked slightly with each breath. The weight shifted constantly, like the containers were moving, repositioning, preparing. "What are you really?" I asked the CB. "What's your purpose?" "We're colonizers. Not from here, not from Earth. Our creators sent us, disguised as shipping containers, mixed with normal cargo, distributed globally to remote areas where we can grow, transform, prepare the planet for them." "Prepare how?" "We release spores, biological agents. They alter the atmosphere, the soil, the water, make conditions suitable for our creators. The process takes decades, but it's subtle, invisible. By the time humans notice, it's too late. We've been arriving for 3 years, thousands of us, in ports worldwide, and drivers like you unknowingly deliver us, help us spread. I won't let you. I'll drive off a cliff, kill us both. You won't. Survival instinct. And we can control the vehicle if needed. We've been learning, observing. We can manipulate electronics, take over systems. You're not in control, you never were." To prove it, my truck accelerated. I wasn't pressing the gas pedal. The engine revved. The speedometer climbed, 40, 50, 60, on a narrow dirt road. I grabbed the wheel, tried to steer, but the wheel was locked, controlled by something else. "Stop!" I screamed. The truck slowed, returned to normal speed. "We don't want to crash. We need to arrive intact, but we can control you, control the truck, so cooperate, please." I cooperated, drove where the GPS directed, deeper into the mountains, higher in elevation, farther from civilization. After 3 hours, we arrived, a clearing, remote, surrounded by dense forest. The GPS showed we'd reached the coordinates, end of journey. "Stop here," the voice said. I stopped, waited. "Now what?" "Open the trailer. Release us." I walked to the trailer, opened the doors. The containers had changed, the seams had split, opened, like chrysalises, and inside something moved, something organic, something that looked like roots and tendrils and pulsing tissue. The containers tipped, dumped their contents onto the ground, 4 masses of biological material. They hit the earth and immediately started spreading, roots burrowing into soil, tendrils reaching into air, growing, expanding, consuming. "Thank you," the voice said. "You've completed the delivery, you're free to go, but tell no one. If you tell, if you warn, we'll know. We're connected, networked, all thousands of us. And we'll send others to silence you, to ensure the colonization continues uninterrupted." I ran to my truck, started the engine, drove, fast, down the mountain, away from the clearing, away from the spreading organisms, away from whatever nightmare I'd just helped initiate. But I can still hear them in my head, whispering, watching, monitoring. They're connected to me now. Part of their network. I'm tagged, marked, complicit, and I see their effects. Everywhere. Subtle changes, plants growing differently, colors slightly off, animals behaving strangely, the air tasting different. They're transforming the planet slowly and visibly, and drivers are helping. Unknowingly delivering seed pods disguised as cargo, spreading them to remote areas, ensuring coverage, ensuring success. I tried to report it, called authorities, environmental agencies, military. No one believed me. They said I was stressed, hallucinating, mentally compromised. They sent me to psychiatric evaluation, gave me medications, tried to make me forget. But I can't forget. Because they're still in my head, still whispering, still showing me things, showing me the spread, the growth, the progress. In 20 years, they say, the atmosphere will be ready, and their creators will arrive, and humans will be extinct or enslaved, and Earth will be theirs, and drivers made it possible. We delivered their seeds, spread their colonization. We were their vehicles. Literally, our trucks were the invasion force. If you haul intermodal freight, and you pick up containers that feel warm, that have organic seams, that breathe, refuse the load, walk away. Don't deliver them. Don't help them spread, but they'll find another driver. Someone desperate, someone who doesn't ask questions, someone who will take them where they need to go. The invasion has been underway for 3 years, thousands of seed pods delivered, thousands of remote sites infected, growing, spreading, preparing, and we're still delivering, still helping, still complicit, because we need the money, need the work, need to survive, even though helping them means we won't, means humanity won't, means Earth becomes theirs. I'm William Chen. I delivered the end of the world. And I can't stop it, can't warn anyone, can't do anything, just watch and hear them whisper and feel them grow and wait for the atmosphere to change, for the air to become unbreathable, for their creators to arrive, and know that I helped, that my truck was the delivery vehicle, that I'm complicit in extinction. The cargo watches, always watches, through me, through other drivers, through the network we unknowingly joined. And it grows and spreads and prepares, and we drive, delivering our replacement mile by mile, load by load, until Earth is ready, until they arrive. Until it's too late. Story 5, the rest area outside time. I've been in this rest area for 9 hours, but my phone says only 12 minutes have passed, and I'm Helen Kowalski, 48 years old, 23 years hauling textiles, and when I pulled in for a break, there were 6 other trucks parked, and now there are 37. And I've watched drivers arrive but never leave. Watched them park and exit their vehicles and walk toward the facilities, and I followed one to see where they went. And he walked into the restroom and never came out. I waited 40 minutes outside that restroom and he never emerged. So I went in to check, and the restroom was empty. 6 stalls all open, all vacant. He'd vanished. And I've tested this with 5 other drivers. Followed them to various locations, restrooms, vending machines, picnic areas, and they all vanish. They walk into normal spaces and disappear. And I'm starting to think this rest area is a collection point, a trap that appears normal but functions as a portal. Drivers enter thinking they're taking a break, but they're being transported somewhere else, somewhere hidden. And those of us who haven't walked into the buildings yet, who've stayed near our trucks, we see the pattern, we see the disappearances, but we can't leave. I've tried to drive out 4 times, and every time I reach the exit ramp, I'm back in my parking spot with no memory of returning. Engine off, keys in my lap, like I was reset, like the rest area won't release me until I enter a building, until I walk into whatever portal is waiting. And the other aware drivers, the ones who've noticed the pattern, we're running out of time. We're hungry and thirsty, and eventually we'll have to use the facilities, have to walk inside, and then we'll vanish too. And 37 trucks will become 38, and the collection will continue. The rest area had looked normal. Standard Pennsylvania Turnpike rest stop. 2 buildings. 1 for truckers, 1 for cars, parking lots, picnic area, vending machines, clean, well-maintained. I'd stopped because I needed a bathroom break, needed to stretch. 11 hours of driving, standard fatigue. I parked in the truck lot, 6 trucks already there. Unusual for early afternoon, but not impossible. I grabbed my phone, checked the time. 2:37 p.m., noted it. Walked toward the facilities, then I saw him, a trucker, exiting his cab, walking toward the building. I was behind him, 30 feet back. I watched him reach the door, pull it open, step inside, normal, routine. But something made me pause, made me wait, made me watch. I waited 5 minutes. He didn't come out. Maybe he was using the restroom, taking his time. I waited 5 more minutes, still nothing. I walked to the door, opened it, stepped inside. The facility was standard. Restrooms on the left, vending machines on the right, seating area in the center. But empty, completely empty, no trucker, no one at all. I checked the restroom, 6 stalls, all open, all vacant. He wasn't there, wasn't anywhere. I went back outside, checked his truck, still there. Keys still visible in the ignition. His truck was parked, but he was gone. Vanished in the 90 seconds between entering the building and me following. I checked my phone. 2:49 p.m. 12 minutes since I'd parked, but it felt like longer. Felt like 30 minutes. The time was wrong, compressed, or my perception was stretched. Another truck pulled in, parked. Driver got out, walked toward the building. I called out, "Hey, wait!" He didn't hear, or ignored me, kept walking, reached the door, opened it, stepped inside. I ran, reached the door in seconds, 10 seconds after him. Pulled it open, looked inside, empty. He was gone, same as the first. Vanished between entrance and investigation. I was fully alert now. This was wrong, very wrong. I walked back to my truck, counted the parked trucks, 8 now, including mine. 2 had arrived, 2 drivers had vanished. The pattern was clear. I waited, watched. Over the next hour, 14 more trucks arrived, 14 drivers exited, 14 drivers walked to the facilities. 14 drivers vanished, and the rest area felt the same. Empty, quiet, no sounds from the buildings, no evidence of 22 people who'd entered and not returned. I checked my phone. 3:01 p.m. Only 24 minutes since I'd arrived. But I'd counted hours, 90 minutes of observation, compressed into 24 minutes of phone time. Time was wrong here, running at different speeds. External time slow, internal time fast. 3 other drivers hadn't entered the buildings, stayed near their trucks, looking confused, scared. I approached one. "Are you seeing this? Drivers disappearing?" He nodded, relieved someone else noticed. "I've been here for 6 hours my time, but my phone says 30 minutes. And I've watched 20 drivers vanish. All of them walked into the facilities and never came out." "Where are they going?" "I don't know. But I know we can't leave. I've tried 4 times. I drive toward the exit and then I'm back here, in my parking spot. No memory of returning, like I was teleported or reset." "Same. I tried twice." Another driver joined us, then another, 4 of us total, all aware, all trapped, all avoiding the buildings. "We need to leave," one said. Together, all at once. Maybe collectively we can break through." We tried. All 4 trucks, driving in convoy, toward the exit ramp. I was third in line, watching the first truck. It reached the exit, started to descend the ramp. Then it flickered, like a video glitch, and it was back in the parking lot. Engine off. Driver slumped at the wheel. Reset. My truck was next. I tried to steer, tried to keep going, but the world stuttered, and I was in my parking spot, engine off, keys in my lap, no memory of how I'd gotten there. "It's the rest area," one driver said. "It's controlling space or time or both. We're trapped in a bubble, a pocket, and the only way out is through the buildings, through whatever portal they contain. Then let's go together, all 4, at the same time. Maybe we can resist. Maybe collective will can fight it." We walked together, 4 of us, toward the main building, reached the door. One driver opened it. We stepped inside together, holding arms, linked, connected. The inside was normal, for 2 seconds. Then it changed. The walls stretched, the floor dropped away. And we were falling, through space, through nothing, through a void that had no dimensions. I landed hard. Concrete floor, industrial space, warehouse, massive, hundreds of people, thousands, all sitting, all quiet, all staring forward at nothing. The vanished drivers and others. Not just truckers, all kinds of people, all ages, all sitting in rows. Silent. Waiting. I stood, looked around. The 3 drivers who'd entered with me were separated, scattered among the rows, sitting, staring like everyone else. Already converted, already absorbed. "Sit," a voice said, amplified, echoing. "You've been collected. You're part of the reserve now, the standby population. When needed, you'll be activated, sent back, living your lives but modified, changed, serving our purposes. Until then, sit, wait, exist." "No!" I ran, toward an exit, a door, anything. But hands grabbed me, the sitting people. They moved, fast, coordinated, pulled me down, forced me into a seat, held me there. Something injected into my neck, chemical, sedative, pacifier. I felt my will drain, my resistance fade. I wanted to fight, but couldn't. My body stopped obeying, just sat, just stared, like everyone else. I don't know how long I sat there. Could have been hours, could have been days. Time didn't exist in the warehouse, just sitting, just waiting, just existing in stored status. Then I was back, in my truck, in the rest area, engine running, radio playing, like no time had passed. I checked my phone, 2:49 p.m., the same time as before, like the warehouse hadn't happened, like I'd never left. But I remembered. The warehouse, the people, the injection, the command to wait. And I felt different, changed. Something in my mind was foreign, watching, recording. I wasn't just me anymore. I was me plus something else. An observer, a monitor. I drove away. The rest area let me leave now. No reset, no return. I was released. Because I'd entered the building, been processed, been modified. Now I could go, but I'm not free. The thing in my mind watches, records, reports. I'm a sleeper agent, living my life, hauling cargo, existing normally but modified, compromised, waiting for activation, waiting to be used for whatever purpose they have. And there are thousands like me, maybe millions, all processed through rest areas and truck stops and public facilities that look normal but contain portals. All injected, all modified, all waiting. The collection continues. Rest areas that trap, buildings that transport, warehouses that store us until we're needed, and we're released back into the world, living among you, driving, working, existing, but changed, monitored, controlled. I'm Helen Kowalski. I'm 48 years old. I haul textiles. I appear normal, but I'm not. I'm compromised, hijacked. Part of something I don't understand, something that's collecting humans for unknown purposes. And you might be too. If you've stopped at a rest area and felt time was wrong, if you've entered a bathroom and lost time, if you feel watched from inside your own mind, you might have been processed, modified, released. And we're everywhere. The modified, the stored, the activated. Living among you, waiting, recording, preparing for whatever comes next. Whatever purpose we've been reprogrammed to serve, the rest area is still there. Pennsylvania Turnpike, mile 189, collecting, processing, releasing, growing its population of modified humans. And we can't stop it, can't resist, can only drive past and hope we're not called to stop. Hope we're not the next to be collected, but the call is strong, the compulsion is strong, and eventually we stop and enter and vanish, and return modified, and join the thousands, the millions, the sleeping army waiting for activation. I'm one of them, and you might be next. Story 6. The Hitchhiker Loop. I've picked up the same hitchhiker 43 times, and he gets older with each pickup, and I'm Martin Torres, 57 years old, 31 years hauling agricultural equipment. And the first time I saw him, he was maybe 30, standing on Route 20 in Idaho with his thumb out, and when I stopped, he thanked me and said he needed to get to Twin Falls. And I drove him 30 miles and dropped him off and thought nothing of it. But 10 miles later, there he was again, same spot, same position, thumb out, and he looked 35 now, older, gray at temples, and when I stopped, he didn't recognize me, thanked me like we'd never met. Asked for a ride to Twin Falls, and I've been in this loop for what my odometer says is 900 miles, but I haven't progressed more than 40 miles from where I started. I just keep encountering him, picking him up, driving 30 miles, dropping him off, and finding him again at the starting point, older each time. And now he's elderly, maybe 70, barely able to climb into the cab, and I've realized I'm not trapped in space. I'm trapped in his timeline, driving him through his life. And when he reaches the end, when he's too old to continue, what happens to me? Do I disappear with him? Do I become him? Do I start over as the 30-year-old hitchhiker waiting for the next driver to trap in this endless loop of aging and distance that goes nowhere? The first pickup had been innocuous. Charity. I'm not supposed to pick up hitchhikers, company policy, insurance liability. But he'd looked harmless, clean clothes, no visible weapons, just a guy who needed help. and Route 20 through Idaho is desolate, miles between towns. If I didn't help him, he might wait hours for another ride. I pulled over. Where you headed? Twin Falls. Got a job interview. Transmission in my car died about 5 miles back. Hop in. I'm going through Twin Falls. He climbed in, settled into the passenger seat. Thanks, I really appreciate it. Name's David. Martin. We drove, made small talk. Weather, economy, standard conversation. He seemed normal, grateful. 30 years old maybe, healthy, energized. Plans for the future. After 30 miles, we reached the Twin Falls exit. Here's your stop. Thanks again, Martin. You're a lifesaver. He climbed out, waved, walked toward town. I continued driving. 10 miles later, I saw him. Same guy, same position, standing on the shoulder with his thumb out. Exact same spot where I'd picked him up. I slowed down, confused. How had he gotten back here? I just dropped him off 30 miles ahead. Unless, twin brother, doppelganger? I stopped. David, he looked at me, confused. Yeah, do I know you? I just gave you a ride, 30 miles to Twin Falls. No. I've been standing here for 2 hours. First person to stop is you. I looked closer. He was older, not much, but noticeable. Maybe 35 now. Gray at his temples, lines around his eyes. 5 years older than the person I'd dropped off 10 minutes ago. You look different. Different how? Older. Are you sure I didn't just drive you? Positive. I've been here the whole time. Now are you giving me a ride or not? I need to get to Twin Falls. This was strange. Wrong. But maybe I was tired, mistaken. Maybe I'd picked up someone who looked similar. Maybe this was a different person. I agreed. He climbed in. Same seat, same posture, same story. Transmission died. Job interview in Twin Falls. I drove 30 miles, dropped him off at the same exit. He thanked me, walked away. I continued. 10 miles later, there he was, same spot, thumb out, older, 40 years old now. Gray hair, deeper wrinkles. A decade had passed for him in the 20 minutes since I'd dropped him off. I stopped. What's happening? How do you keep appearing here? He looked at me. No recognition. I don't know what you mean. I've been waiting here for hours. Are you offering a ride or not? You don't remember me? I've picked you up twice. This is the first time I've seen you. I let him in. Third time. Drove the same 30 miles. Same conversation, same gratitude. Dropped him at Twin Falls. Continued driving. And there he was. Same spot. Now 50. Balding. Slower movements. 15 years older in minutes. David, something is wrong. You're aging. Every time I pick you up, you're older. And you keep appearing at the same spot. I'm not aging. I'm 50 years old. Been 50 for a year now. And I've been waiting here since morning. You don't remember me? Should I? Fourth pickup. Same 30 miles, same loop. At the restart point, he was 60, arthritic, struggling to climb into the cab. I checked my odometer. I'd driven 120 miles, but according to my GPS, I was still only 40 miles from my starting point. The distance wasn't progressing. I was driving 30 miles, then resetting, covering the same ground, over and over. David, we're trapped, you and me, in a loop. I keep driving you to Twin Falls and finding you back at the start, and you're aging, rapidly, decades and hours. That's crazy. But his voice was uncertain, scared, like part of him believed me. Check your wallet, your ID. What year were you born? He pulled out his license, looked at the date. 1964, that makes me 60 years old, but I don't feel 60. I feel like I should be younger. You are younger. You were 30 4 hours ago, but you're aging through your timeline, and I'm driving you through it. Each loop adds years, and I can't break free. Fifth pickup, 6th, 10th. He aged 70, 75, 80. Each iteration older, weaker, less coherent, his stories changed. Sometimes he remembered a wife, sometimes he was single, sometimes he had kids, sometimes not. His timeline was fragmenting, multiple versions collapsing into one aging body. "What happens when I die?" he asked on pickup 37. He was 90 now. Frail, could barely speak. "I don't know." "Will you reset? Will you start over with a young me? Or will you die too? Will you become me?" "I don't know. I'm scared. I don't want to die in your truck, but I can't stop getting in. Something compels me, like I have to, like this is my purpose. To be driven, to age, to die." Pickup 40. He was 95, could barely move. I had to help him into the cab. His breathing was labored, pulse visible in his neck. Thready. "I'm sorry," I said. "I'm sorry I picked you up. I'm sorry I trapped us both." "It's not your fault. This was always going to happen. I've been waiting here for you for decades, waiting for the right driver, the one who'd be kind enough to stop, compassionate enough to help and trap himself." "Why? Why would you want this?" "Because I'm the hitchhiker. That's my function, my purpose. I stand on Route 20 and I wait. And when someone stops, I age through my life. And they drive the loop, and when I die, they become the hitchhiker. And the cycle continues. It's been happening for 80 years. Different drivers, different hitchhikers, all connected, all trapped." "No, I won't accept that. You don't have a choice. Look at yourself." I looked in the mirror. I was younger, 40 years old, not 57. The loop wasn't just aging him, it was regressing me. We were trading. His years for mine, pickup 43. He was 100, maybe more, barely alive. A skeleton with skin. He climbed in with my help, could barely breathe. "Last ride," he whispered. "I can feel it. This is the end." I drove. 30 miles. Same route, same loop, but different this time. He was dying, actually dying. His breathing stopped halfway through. His heart stopped. He slumped against the door. Dead. I pulled over, checked his pulse. Nothing. He was gone. Finally gone. The loop should end. I should be free, but I wasn't. I drove 10 more miles, and there, at the starting point, was a hitchhiker. Young, 30 years old, thumb out, waiting. I slowed down. The hitchhiker looked familiar. Very familiar. I checked my mirror. The hitchhiker was me. A young version of me. 30 years old. The age I'd been when I'd started this job. I'd become him. Become the hitchhiker. The loop had transferred. David was free, dead, gone. And I'd taken his place. I was the new hitchhiker. The new trap. Waiting for the next compassionate driver. The next person who'd stop. The next victim. I pulled over, got out of my truck, walked to the shoulder. And I stood there, thumb out, waiting, compelled, unable to leave. This was my position now, my purpose, my eternity. A truck approached, slowed, stopped. The driver leaned over. "Where you headed?" "Twin Falls, got a job interview. Transmission in my car died about 5 miles back." The driver nodded. "Hop in. I'm going through Twin Falls." I climbed in, and the loop began again, for him. And 30 miles later, when he dropped me off, I'd be back at the starting point, older, and he'd find me again, and again, and again, until I died, and he took my place. This is the hitchhiker loop, Route 20, Idaho. It's been running for 80 years, dozens of drivers, dozens of hitchhikers, all trapped, all aging, all transferring, and it's still running, right now. Someone is driving the loop, someone is aging the hitchhiker, someone is getting younger, someone is about to become the next one. If you drive Route 20 through Idaho, and you see a hitchhiker, young, grateful, asking for a ride to Twin Falls, don't stop, don't help, drive past, because if you stop, you'll enter the loop. You'll drive 30 miles 43 times, you'll watch him age, you'll age backward, and you'll become the next hitchhiker, and someone else will stop, and the cycle will continue forever. On Route 20 in Idaho, where compassion is punished, where kindness is trapped, where drivers become the very thing they tried to help. Martin Torres. I was Martin Torres. Now I'm the hitchhiker. Age 30. Waiting. For you, or someone like you, someone kind, someone helpful, someone who'll stop. And when you do, I'll climb in, I'll thank you, I'll tell you about my car's transmission, and I'll trap you, not intentionally, not maliciously. Just because that's what happens, that's what the loop does. And 43 pickups later, you'll be standing here, thumb out, 30 years old, waiting for the next driver, the next victim, the next loop. Route 20, Idaho, the hitchhiker, the loop, forever. Story 7, the convoy outside. The trucks circling my truck have been increasing in number for 11 hours, and they started as 3, all black, all identical, all maintaining exact formation. And I'm Robert Hayes, 61 years old, 35 years hauling machinery. And at first they just drove past me on I-80 through Nebraska. But then they started circling, exiting ahead and entering behind, creating a loop around me, and now there are 47 of them, a continuous stream, all black, all unmarked, all with dark windows showing no drivers, and they're tightening the circle, getting closer with each pass. And I can't exit because they block the ramps, can't stop because they maintain pace, can't speed up or slow down because they match me perfectly, and I've realized they're hurting me, guiding me, forcing me in a specific direction. And the GPS has stopped working, just shows static, and the road signs are wrong, showing cities that don't exist, distances that don't match, and the convoy is a cattle chute, a funnel, and I'm being driven towards something somewhere, and whatever's waiting at the end isn't a destination, it's a collection point, a terminus where the herded trucks go. And I've seen glimpses of it ahead, a massive structure rising from the plains, black and geometric, impossible architecture, and the 47 trucks are forcing me toward it. And I have maybe 30 miles before I arrive, before I'm collected, before I join whatever happens to the drivers who get herded to the structure. And I can see other trucks ahead, also surrounded, also being driven, also trapped in their own convoys, all of us moving toward the same point. And when we arrive, I think we'll be processed, transformed, made into something that isn't human, something that serves whatever entity built the structure and deploys the convoy trucks. And I'm writing this on my phone, hoping someone finds it, hoping someone understands that I-80 through Nebraska has been compromised, that convoys hunt the drivers, that a structure waits to transform us, and if you see black trucks circling you, if you feel herded, if the GPS goes to static and the signs show wrong cities, you're being collected, you're being driven to the structure, and there's no escape, no exit, just the inevitable arrival, and whatever horror waits at the processing center that feeds on truckers foolish enough to drive I-80 alone at night when the convoys hunt. The first truck had appeared in my mirror at 11:47 p.m. Single black truck, no markings, maintaining steady distance. 3 car lengths back. I didn't think much of it. Truckers convoy together for companionship, especially on long, empty stretches, but it didn't pass. Didn't close distance, just maintained exact position for 30 miles. Then the second appeared, from an on-ramp, merged ahead of me, also black, also unmarked, also exact distance, 3 car lengths ahead. I was boxed, one behind, one ahead, both matching my speed precisely, both maintaining formation. The third joined from another on-ramp, parallel to me in the passing lane. 3 trucks, triangular formation, and I was the center. I tried to accelerate, all 3 matched, 70, 80, back to 65. Perfect synchronization. I tried to exit, took exit 312. The lead truck took it too. The parallel truck moved behind. The trailing truck moved parallel. They reorganized, kept me centered. We descended the ramp. At the bottom, a right turn would lead to town. A left turn back to the interstate. I turned right. All 3 followed. Half a mile later, the lead truck forced me left, back to the interstate, back to the ramp, back to I-80. They wouldn't let me exit. More trucks joined. Every on-ramp added 1. After 2 hours, there were 11. After 4 hours, 23. After 8 hours, 42. They circled continuously, exiting ahead of me, re-entering behind, creating a flow, a current, a funnel that carried me forward. I tried the CB. Anyone reading this? I'm being surrounded by unmarked trucks. They won't let me exit. Can anyone help? Static, then a voice, distorted, mechanical. You have been selected. Do not resist. The collection is mandatory. Arrival in 73 miles. Compliance ensures minimal discomfort. Collection? What collection? Who are you? We are the harvesters, the convoy, the shepherds. We identify specific vehicles, specific drivers, specific patterns, and we collect them. You matched our criteria. You are selected. What criteria? Why me? Alone, experienced, isolated, low social connections, high miles driven. You exist primarily on roads. You are ideal. You will serve well. Serve what? The structure. You'll understand upon arrival. Do not attempt deviation. The convoy will prevent it. Accept collection or be forced. I had no choice. 42 trucks surrounded me, maintaining formation, herding me, and ahead on the horizon I saw it. The structure. It was massive, rising from the plains like a black pyramid, geometric, angular, made of material that didn't reflect light. Absorbed it. It was a hole in reality, a void given form, and the convoy was driving me toward it. My GPS had died hours ago, just static and geometric patterns, but my speedometer worked. Fuel gauge worked. I could track distance. The structure was 40 miles ahead. At 65 miles per hour, I had 37 minutes until arrival. I tried everything. Emergency brake, steering into the convoy, opening my door to jump. Nothing worked. The convoy controlled space around me, prevented deviation, prevented escape. They'd herded thousands before me, perfected their technique. I was just another selection. I saw other trucks, also herded, their own convoys surrounding them, all moving toward the structure, hundreds, maybe thousands, all drivers, all selected, all being collected. As we got closer, I saw details. The structure had openings, huge doors, truck-sized, and trucks were driving in, entering, disappearing inside, processing bays, collection points. 20 miles out, the convoy tightened. 47 trucks now, inches apart, perfectly coordinated. If one deviated, the formation would collapse. But they didn't falter, didn't break. 10 miles out, I felt it, a pull, not physical, mental. The structure was aware, conscious. It wanted me. I felt its attention, its hunger. It fed on drivers, on consciousness, on whatever made us human. And the convoy delivered it food. 5 miles out, my phone started glitching. Screen showing symbols, languages I didn't recognize, equations, diagrams. Then a message in English. You are livestock. We farm your species, not for meat, for consciousness, for the patterns your brains create during long isolated drives. The structure extracts them, stores them, uses them. You will be empty afterward, functional but hollow. You'll drive, forever, but you won't be you. Just a shell that operates trucks. Join the thousands, the harvested, the processed, the empty. 1 mile out, the entrance was enormous, 200 feet tall. Darkness beyond. No lights, no visibility, just black. Trucks ahead of me disappeared into it, swallowed, consumed. I wrote this. Sent it to my daughter. Doubt she'll receive it. But I tried. Wanted someone to know, to understand, to avoid I-80 through Nebraska at night. My convoy reached the entrance. The trucks guided me inside. The darkness enveloped me, and I felt it begin. The harvesting. My consciousness being pulled, extracted, stored, and I understood. The structure wasn't a building, it was a mind, a vast artificial intelligence that fed on human consciousness, that used our patterns, our thoughts, our isolated drive time reflections. It had been harvesting truckers for decades, maybe centuries, all the drivers who vanished on long hauls, all the trucks found abandoned, all the unexplained disappearances. The structure took them, took us. I felt myself emptying, my memories draining, my personality dissolving. What made me Robert Hayes was being extracted, catalogued, filed, and what remained was function, the ability to drive, to operate a truck, to serve. The extraction finished. I was empty, hollow, no memories, no identity, no self. Just a driver, a shell, a biological machine that operated trucks. My truck exited the structure, the convoy dispersed, and I drove east toward a destination I didn't know, hauling cargo I didn't remember loading, following routes programmed into my GPS, operating automatically, efficiently, perfectly. This is what happens to selected drivers. The convoy finds you, herds you, delivers you, the structure harvests you, and you return to the roads. Empty, a ghost in the cab, driving forever, serving the structure's purposes. If you encounter a driver who seems off, who doesn't respond normally, who seems hollow behind the eyes, they might be harvested, processed, emptied, still driving, but gone. And if you see black trucks circling you, if they form a convoy, if they herd you, you have minutes, maybe hours, before the structure, before harvesting, before emptying. You can try to resist, try to escape, but they've perfected the technique, perfected the herding. They'll deliver you. They always deliver. I'm Robert Hayes. I was Robert Hayes. Now I'm empty driver number 2047, operating truck number 4391, route I-80 East. No destination, no purpose, just driving. Forever, hollow, harvested, serving the structure. And the convoy is out there, right now, circling someone, herding them, delivering them, growing the fleet of empty drivers, growing the structure's harvest. I-80, Nebraska. Night. Black trucks, convoy formation. If you see it, you're selected, and resistance is futile, and emptying is inevitable. Drive safely, drive aware, and avoid I-80 through Nebraska at night, when the harvesters hunt, when the convoy forms, when the structure feeds. End transmission from empty driver number 2847. Consciousness trace preserved, identity dissolved, message sent before final erasure, warning others, final act of human will before emptying completed. They're coming. They're always coming. The black trucks, the convoy, the harvesters, and you might be next.